This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to another Louie T Network exclusive as we continue on the coaching carousel in the 2017 offseason in the National Football League. We started with 6 teams who had head coaching vacancies, and today 2 of them were filled as the number now shrinks to 3 teams left to fill their coaching vacancies. We talked about the Broncos and Vance Joseph and their new head coach in the Mile High City. Now we're talking about the Buffalo Bills and their new head coach as they make it official today with ex-Panthers defensive coordinator Sean McDermott. So we'll talk about what this hire means for the Bills and why this hire was made and how it can impact this team now and moving into the future, and how this is going to impact this team, the roster, the coaching staff, so forth and so forth. Before we jump into any of that, though, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2016, or I should say 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscription button on YouTube to become a member of the Louie T Network. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. We're changing the game up there too, man. I'm doing a lot of live stuff, a lot of chatting with you, the viewers, on Twitter. And so jump on Twitter, follow me @InTheLabRoom. Make that happen. Also, I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Going to go live up there down the road, experiment and do some things there, some exclusive content. So get ahead of that train as well. And like the Facebook page, all my social media platforms right down below so you can't miss them. Let's jump into this hire of Sean McDermott, the newest head coach of the Buffalo Bills. So we all know that the Rex Ryan saga ended in Buffalo uneventfully as Ryan did not get it done. They end up firing him before the conclusion of the season. Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator, then took over as interim head coach, and many thought that he was going to be a lock for the job. Jason La Canfora reported that it was all but a shoo-in. It was all but formality that Anthony Lynn, the then offensive coordinator and interim head coach of the Bills, would be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And then they had an interview with Sean McDermott. He must have blown them away, knocked their socks off. And what do you know? The Buffalo Bills have a new head coach in Sean McDermott. So where does this guy come from? What is his background? What is he going to specialize in? Here's a guy that has spent the duration of his NFL career as a defensive-minded guy. Under Andy Reid in his tenure in Philadelphia is where he got his start really in this league. Spent a number of years with the Philadelphia Eagles organization. Then he finally got an opportunity. And that was from like 99 all the way to like 2011, where he then became the defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers and has done a marvelous job there. Remember, 2015 was the season where everyone thought he was going to get a job after the conclusion of that season. Remember, Panthers all the way to the Super Bowl. The defense was the catalyst for that success. They were dominant. They were getting to the quarterback. They were generating turnovers at an alarming rate. And a lot of that credit must be given to Sean McDermott, and was given to him. And then this year, I think this was even more impressive, even more so than last season when there was so much success in Carolina, all the turnovers and so forth and so forth. You lose Josh Norman in the offseason. You've got rookie corners out on the outsides. You have a ton of injuries, including Luke Kuechly missing 6 games due to a concussion. The defensive line isn't what it was last year. You're not getting all the sacks out of K'Wan Short, and yet the Panthers were among the league leaders in sacks yet again which is asinine, knowing that you have young corners on the outside, knowing that there's no Luke Kuechly, knowing that you're not getting the same production out of some of these players, yet you still manage to get to the quarterback somehow, some way. There's no one dominant pass rusher, no guy with 15 and a half sacks, and yet you still manage as a team to be one of the best at bagging quarterbacks this season. Speaks volumes as to the job that Sean McDermott did in Carolina this past season, and hence he was rewarded. Panthers, not a surprise when you win the division 3 years in a row that your defensive coordinator gets plucked. And so this is the first time that the Panthers haven't won the division in 4 years, but McDermott still was at the top of his game after the 2016 season, and he was rewarded with an opportunity to interview, smashed the interview, knocked it out of the park, and now he's the Buffalo Bills' new head coach. So first thing that comes to my mind when I hear this hire, I think of the Bills defense and what it was just a few years ago before Rex Ryan came on board, back when they had Doug Marrone as the head coach and they had Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator. I go back to that season and I think about just how dominant the Bills defensively were in that season. And I look at a lot of the parts and I say, man, you still got some of those same parts on this football team. Why aren't you still dominant on the defensive side of the football? There are a bunch of questions and a bunch of different reasons why you could point to the Bills not being successful as a team, but there's not enough answers as to why this defense isn't as good and why they're a middle-of-the-pack defense. This is better than a middling defense, better than a middle-of-the-pack scoring defense. This is better than a middle-of-the-pack sacking defense. This is supposed to be one of the better defenses. If you're looking at the talent on this defense, they're supposed to be one of the better units in all of the National Football League. And with Rex Ryan there, you just assumed that what Jim Schwartz did, he was going to build upon, and they were going to be dominant defensively for the years that Rex Ryan was going to be in Buffalo. That wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, they got worse on defense. And so they're looking, are the Bills, Tom Pagula and company, they're looking to turn things around in Buffalo, starting with their defense, because they don't know what they have on the offensive side of football. They don't know the future of that football team on the offensive side. All they know is they have Shady McCoy right now and an injury-prone wide receiver, and they do not know what they have at quarterback right now. So right now, offense is a huge question mark. But what isn't is the defense. And if you're going to be good, if you're going to be competitive right now in Buffalo, the only way to do that is on the defensive side of the football. They're going to have to carry this team until you figure out some things on the offensive side of the football. Best way to do that, get a guy with a pedigree that has shown over the years that he can stabilize a defense no matter what's going on around them. And McDermott has shown that over the life of his career as either a defensive coordinator or a positional coach. In any event, this is a guy that they feel like can get it done. They like his mindset and temperament. They love the plan that he has for this football team. And like I said, he went into that interview room with the brass of the Buffalo Bills and came out on the other side as the new head coach. So that tells you all you need to know about what he was able to do and his philosophies and how they were able to win over the Buffalo Bills brass as he is now their new head coach. So first thing I think about is he's going to improve this defense immensely in Buffalo, which is what they need. If you're going to beat Tom Brady, if you're going to beat the Dolphins, who all of a sudden now can score points, you got to be able to play some defense. And you got to be consistent on that side of the football. And that's what Sean McDermott is going to bring to the Buffalo Bills right away. A defensive presence in that locker room with those players. Accountability is going to be key. And if he can get these guys to perform week in and week out, it's going to be a dangerous Buffalo Bills team. We don't know what's going to happen on the offensive side of the football. Of course, I figure you guys are going to ask some questions about that. We'll discuss that as we move along. But Sean McDermott right now, first-time head coach. I'm excited for him, a guy that's been in the league for quite some time, finally getting an opportunity to show what he's capable of as the head man in charge as a head coach with this Buffalo Bills football team. This man has been a defensive coach in some capacity for the last decade plus. We're talking about a guy that has over 15 years of NFL experience, if I'm not mistaken, 18 to be exact. He was long overdue for an opportunity. He's finally getting it. Let's see what Sean McDermott does with this opportunity in Buffalo. One thing's for sure, they're going to be much better, I feel, on the defensive side of the football if they can stay relatively healthy. If Marcel Darius can stay out of his own way, this is going to be a much improved Buffalo Bills defense come next season. Let's get to some of your comments and see what you guys say and how you feel about Doug McDermott to the Bills, the third head coaching hire of this young 2017 offseason. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 1000 says, why is every team going out for a D coordinator as a head coach? You want to know why? Here's why. Because defense wins championships. You can run away from defense all you want. You can run away from the running game. We could sit here and talk about how it's a passing league, and it is. But this time of the year, you need defense. And if your defense isn't any good, you're probably going to be at home watching the playoffs come January. That's just the way it goes. If your defense is bad, you're not going to make the postseason. Look at the Redskins. Prime example. One of the best offenses in all of the league, yet they had the absolute worst defense, it seems like. You look up, and you're 8-7-1 at the end of the season. And had the defense been better, this is probably a 10-win team in the Redskins. Your defense is bad, you're not going to get where you ultimately want to go. You have to play some semblance of defense in this league. And usually the teams that play the better defense goes to the playoffs and has a shot to go on the road and win, to win at home, wherever the case may be, indoors, outdoors. You play defense, you've got a shot. We saw that last year with the Denver Broncos. We've seen it with the Seahawks time and time again. It's not a coincidence that teams who play defense win in this league. It's not on accident. So if you go out and you get a defensive-minded head coach who actually knows how to coach and you give him enough pieces to get it done, you will see results and you'll have a shot. And that's why you see teams going after defensive-minded head coaches. Josh Berman says, do you think that they will keep T-Mobile or will he test the market? Well, I don't think the Bills have any interest in holding on to Tyrod Taylor, nor do they have any interest in paying him $27 million next year. Now, he just had surgery, and if he's not able to pass the physical by March, whatever, I forget what that date is, but if he's not able to, the new league year, they're going to owe him that money. He's going to get that money. It's going to be owed to him by the Buffalo Bills. So they're trying to make sure that he heals up, passes their physical, so that they can get out of that money that they will owe him, that obligation to pay him. I think they're ready to move on from Tyrod Taylor. He's going to have to test free agency. And honestly, I don't know if there's a home out there for him or not as a starter. I think there is plenty of room for him as a backup, but I don't know if he gets another opportunity to start right away. We'll see what happens with that. That's an intriguing situation, not just from the Bills standpoint, but from Tyrod Taylor's perspective as well. Like, where are you going to go to be a starter in this league? I just don't know if there's room for him as a starter in this league anywhere, because you have to tailor your offense to what he does. And I don't know if teams are willing to do that. So we'll see. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 1000 says, should the Bills get a next big target for team? I don't think he's going to be around. And they do need more receivers. Whether he's there or not, they need more receivers. You can't count on Sammy Watkins to stay healthy. He's had foot problems his entire NFL career. They're only seeming to get worse. So if I'm the Bills, I'm looking to upgrade the wide receiver position. It was a mess this season for you. Part of the reason why I think that Tyrod Taylor struggled was lack of targets out there. Even though the Bills had one of the best running games in all of the National Football League, their passing game was anemic at times. And a lot of that had to do with the lack of targets available. You saw the offense start to come to life at the end of the season when Sammy Watkins came back and gave them a semblance of a target out there, but it's not enough. They need more in Buffalo for sure. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 1000 says, who should the Bills take in the first round? Hard to say what exactly they should take in the first round. I just told you that they could use a big target at receiver, but it's easier said than done. Bills, I think, have a top 15 pick. I'm not sure if they're in the top 10 this year. I don't believe they are. I'm trying to think of what their record was this season. No, they almost made the playoffs, so they're definitely not. I don't even think they're in the top 15. I think they're in the top 20. But in any event, I don't know if they'll be in a position to draft a wide receiver in this year's draft in the first round. I don't know how many. Again, I haven't looked at the prospects to know, so it'd be hard for me to tell you what they should draft. They could use some help at receiver for sure. Obviously, quarterback, I don't know how they feel about Cardale Jones, the guy that they drafted last year, but they could definitely use one of those as well. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. You don't know what's going to happen in the offseason with their cornerback situation. I believe they've got at least one, possibly two different corners that may be free agents. So we'll see what happens, who's able to be re-signed, what they do in free agency themselves. That will determine your needs. It's always hard to tell what a team needs this time of the year in the draft because we haven't went through free agency yet. I mean, they could fill a couple of voids with some big-time players in free agency, and then you look up and you say, okay, well, they don't need that anymore. So I hate answering that question right now because we still haven't went through free agency yet. Captain Spartan 04 says, now the Bills go back to a 4-3. Welp, if I was Marcel Darius, I would just try to leave this team immediately and go somewhere with a stable defensive scheme. He's not going anywhere, and the fact that he's always getting in trouble and getting suspended really lowers his value. He doesn't have any say-so in that matter, and I think he's under contract anyhow. So he would just be in his best interest to just sit down and shut up and play and stop getting in trouble off the field, which results in suspensions on the field. Captain Spartan 04 says, so where Tyrod going in free agency? It's pretty obvious the Bills aren't going to keep him now. I have no idea. That's what I said. I think that's a fascinating dynamic there because you don't know where Tyrod is going to go just because of his style of play. And if that suits any teams around the league and what they want to do, the only team I can think of would be the Cleveland Browns. But I don't know if Hugh Jackson actually wants to play that way or not, or if he's just forced to because of the lack of options at the quarterback position. Rarely Even says, most happy he's gone from Carolina. I bet you are, because he used to help torment you year in and year out as the defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. So I'm guaranteeing that you are excited today that he is gone, and you hope that they replace him with a dud in Carolina that allows your Buccaneers to take advantage of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Cowboys fan for life says, who do you think will be the Bills quarterback in 2017? I don't know the answer to that. I told you. The one enigma, and the biggest question mark is Tyrod Taylor, because you don't really know. I thought he was really solid in the pocket in 2015. I thought he regressed in 2016, but then you look at the targets and the lack thereof in 2016, and you say, okay, didn't have as many guys to throw it to, and so all of a sudden now, was it all of his fault? Maybe, maybe not. But the bottom line is you don't know what the Bills are going to do. How do they feel about Tyrod Taylor? I think we know the answer to that. I don't think he's going to be back. I don't think they want to pay him $27 million. How do they feel about Cardale Jones? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if they feel like he's ready or not. I don't know if they even view him as the quarterback of the future. These are all questions you have to ask yourself. Will they trade for someone? There are quarterbacks out there. Will they try to sign a quarterback like a Mike Glennon out in free agency? Will they go after, via trade, A.J. McCarron or Tony Romo? Who's to say? We don't know where the mindset of the Buffalo Bills is right now. Their first order of operation was go get us a head coach. Well, they've done that. Check. Now the next business at hand is finding out who's the quarterback going to be for the next season. And I think we're going to find that out here in the near future, whether it be via free agency or maybe even the draft. Who knows? We'll find out. Or maybe that guy is already on the roster, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or Cardale Jones. We will see. But I don't have the answers to that right now. It's a very tough and convoluted question to answer at this very moment. Mr. A. Miles Network says, right from the get-go, I knew Rex Ryan was a mistake. Sean McDermott should help out this defense mightily and steer them back into the right direction. I think so too. I didn't think the Rex Ryan hire was bad per se, but I didn't think that he was going to make that much of a difference. I thought the defense would still be really good, and I thought they still struggle on offense. And it was actually the opposite. The offense was actually pretty solid, like more reliable than the defense, and the defense was spotty. They had a little stretch there this past season where they had some good defensive play. They were getting to the quarterback, generating turnovers, but he's been really inconsistent as the Bills head coach, and it showed. And so I think they're going to have more consistency on the defensive side of football with Sean McDermott as the head coach. Josh Berman says, do you think Sammy Watkins could go to let's make sure y'all are writing these comments and they're making sense. Do you think Sammy Watkins could go due to his injuries, or do you think they will keep him for now? They're going to keep him, no doubt. They traded up picks and they gave up value for him. They're going to keep him. They just want him to get his foot right. He's had numerous foot surgeries since coming into the league, and they just want him to get right. And I don't know how long that's going to take or if it ever will happen, but they're going to keep trying with this guy. As long as he's under contract, they're going to keep giving him every opportunity to get healthy and get back on the field to help him. So he's not going anywhere, not for now at least. Captain Spartan 04 says, dream scenario, Tyrod Taylor in Carolina in the Cardinals offense. Let's assume Bruce lets him use his legs. He's got the arm, but can he read the field the way that he needs to run Bruce Arians' offense in Arizona? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about his ability to make quick decisions, to scan the field and make accurate throws consistently. Again, he can throw it down the field. He's got one of the best deep balls in the league. He can run and extend plays. But can he sit in the pocket and be accurate and deliver? I wasn't impressed with him this season in doing that. So that would be a big question mark. If you're going to play for Bruce Arians, he expects a lot out of his quarterbacks. And I don't know if Tyrod Taylor would live up to those expectations or not. Slump TV says, I like this pickup. I do too. I think Sean McDermott has been ready for an opportunity. He gets it in Buffalo, and I think they have enough talent on that side of the football for him to come in and immediately make them better on the defensive side of the football. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag Taylor says, I want the Bills to win the division next year because I hate Tom Brady. You're not the only one that doesn't like Tom Brady, but it's easier said than done. Teams have been trying to knock the the Patriots off in that division and have failed miserably for years. So it's going to take a lot more than just your hatred for Tom Brady for him to no longer be the guy and that Patriots team to no longer be the team in the AFC East. Sin Day Co. says, hate to see him go, but Rivera is a damn good defensive coach. He will promote from within and keep it together. Honestly, I feel we lost the wrong coordinator, Shula, sometimes. Yikes. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I still go back to that Tampa Bay game where you lose to the Buccaneers without Cam Newton because Mr. Shula decides that it's a smart idea to throw it on 1st and goal from the 1 with Derek Anderson and throws a pick. Go figure, right? Captain Spartan 04 says, Bills key free agents, I think are, don't quote me, Cordy Glenn, left tackle, and Stephon. I think Gilmore for sure is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I said I think they have some corners available in free agency, and I don't know, if they're going to bring them back or not. So that's part of the reason why I mentioned it. I don't know if Cordy Glenn is a free agent or not, but I do believe that Stephon Gilmore is one. Rarely Even says, love this hire, Lou. I told you that this is the guy I wanted the Bucs to hire last offseason. He's a hard-nosed coach. He's well-tenured and deserves this job. Happy for him. I think, and I've said all of those things. Basically, you are echoing my sentiments that he's put in the work. He's been really, really prepping for this opportunity over the years, and I think he's really prepared for this, and he's ready to jump in here and give it a go. And I think he's got the talent around him on that roster to do some damage year one and give them a shot. And so we'll see what happens. Josh Berman also says Stephon Gilmore could be a pretty good cornerback. Reminds me of Josh Norman. He is good, and nobody talks about him. And he has a breakout year. I think McDermott could do it for him. If he's back in Buffalo, I think he could be a hell of a cornerback. I really like his skill set. Much like you mentioned, Nobody really knows much about Stephon Gilmore. He's long, he's active, he's athletic, can make plays on the football. He's physical. I like everything that he brings to the table. Now it's a matter of, do the Bills feel the same way, and are they going to bring him back to this defense? We will see. But in any event, Sean McDermott, the new head man in Buffalo, Bills have not released any terms of the agreement. Obviously, everything is fresh and new, so you'll hear more about it in the coming days. But this is a really big hire for a team that has struggled defensively with consistency over the last 2 seasons under Rex Ryan. You're going to get that defensive consistency back that you had prior to Rex Ryan taking the job. And if you can get anything, the problem now that I think they face is, now that the defense is about to be back, the offense is now going to take a step back, which under Rex Ryan, the offense actually took a step forward and the defense took a step back. So if they could just get everyone on the same page in terms of consistency on this team, offense and defense, this could be a dangerous Bills football team. Problem is, when the defense is good, the offense isn't. When the offense is good, the defense isn't. I think the defense is about to be good again, but with the quarterback question and dilemma out there looming over this Bills franchise, I think they could take a monumental step backwards. And not only will not having a quarterback and not knowing who that guy is right now hurt them in the passing game, it's also going to hurt one of the leading rushing attacks in the league. Because if I don't respect your passing game, I'm going to load up the box and stop Shady McCoy, especially if your quarterback doesn't have legs. The thing that Tyrod Taylor, say what you want about his inaccuracies in the pocket at times, say what you want about him as a thrower of the football, his legs kept defenses honest, and that gave Shady McCoy that much more space to operate with the football in his hands out in space. So, Sean McDermott, the new Bills head man, this should be an interesting hire. Want to see how he's able to come in and change the culture of this Bills football team. Rex Ryan was destroyed by his players after he was fired. They came out and said he had no control over the team. He was too nice. Players would run over him. McDermott's going to have his hands full with a Bills team that had some loose coaches that allowed them to run the asylum, so to speak. Now we'll see if a guy with a little bit of background can come in, be hard-nosed, and get these players to straighten up and fly right in Buffalo. They need a little bit of discipline in Buffalo. Let's see if McDermott can come in and deliver that in year number 1. That's going to do it for your man Louie T here on the Louie T Network, breaking down all of these coaching hires. Remember, if there are more coaching hires, when they happen, if they happen, when they happen, your man Louie T will be here breaking them down on the Louie T Network. Make sure you subscribe to the Louie T Network on YouTube for more coverage of the National Football League, wall-to-wall coverage of any and everything that happens with these head coaches, wall-to-wall coverage of the 2017 NFL playoffs, wall-to-wall coverage of the NFL draft, wall-to-wall coverage of your favorite team. You name it, you get it here on the Louie T Network. Go ahead and subscribe. Also, I'm on Twitter at @InTheLabRoom. We'll be breaking down all of the games on the weekend on Twitter. We'll be chatting live during the game. We'll also be periodically getting on Twitter live via Periscope and chatting it up with you guys about some things about those games. So make sure that you follow me on Twitter at @InTheLabRoom. And also, I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Remember, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you guys tomorrow with my breakdowns of the divisional round of football. We got 2 big matchups on Saturday, followed by 2 big matchups on Sunday. Don't miss those breakdowns, previews, and predictions. That's coming your way tomorrow. I will see you guys then. For all of you out there watching, for all of you who commented, and for all of you who support, thank you. See you next time. I'm your man, Louie T. This is the Louie T Network, and I'm signing off. Till tomorrow, have a good one.